As shadows dance across the walls, an eerie silence envelops the air, setting the stage for chilling discoveries. Enter a realm where the living and the dead entwine, narrating tales that evoke shivers down the spine. Each whisper of the darkness beckons the brave, urging them to confront hidden mysteries. Prepare to have your heart race as secrets long buried begin to unfold before your very eyes.
Hello everyone, I am Chelsea and I'm from the show Original Mystic Galz, Paranormal Investigations. Today I'm going to go over a wide variety of topics, including almost everything that has to do with the paranormal. So I just want you to get my outlook on this topic. I typed up something earlier, which I'm going to read. But I'm going to read it to you like I'm telling a story, because I did not get this from anyone. I did not get help from AI. This is 100% my writing that I did for myself and for everyone else. Okay, so everything involving the paranormal, including Sasquatch, aliens, goblins, fairies, spirits, good and bad, demonic or negative entities. We're going to go over everything, and I'm sure this is going to be a long episode, but it's very interesting because I'm going to share with you all the knowledge that I've gained from not only documentaries, but also from my own personal experiences, from doing investigations myself. So these experiences are not just from me, but they're from other people. And let's just start. So I'm going to start reading what I wrote earlier. It'll make sense as we go along. Okay. I started off with Sasquatch because I had just finished watching 3-4 documentaries on Sasquatch. So here we go. First of all, let's get our coffee. I made myself a nice iced coffee. It's so good. We're gonna need the extra caffeine to get through all this, okay? Okay. Sasquatch is not just a hairy creature found in the woods. It goes much deeper than that. Have you ever heard of someone spotting a flying saucer or UFO and then seeing Bigfoot right before or right after the sighting? Have you ever heard of someone seeing a Sasquatch shapeshift into a different animal or vanish into thin air right before their very eyes? Well, those stories and many more are the ones I'm going to tell you about today. After my endless hours of watching documentaries, I have gained a lot more knowledge on the paranormal than ever before, and I'm not holding back the information. It's so interesting that I have to share it with all of you. And once you are done watching and learning all of this info from me, please like, subscribe to my channel, and share your thoughts with me as well. I would be very interested to hear all your takes on this. So please, please, please let me know what you think. I'm not only going to talk about Sasquatch because, in my opinion, all varieties of the paranormal are related. I am also going to talk about orbs, aliens, spirits, and stories from all over the world. It is not a coincidence that all these different people are having similar sightings and stories. There are too many similarities between them, which I call synchronicities, that it would be impossible to make all this stuff up, including my personal experiences that I've had, and I've also ventured into the world of paranormal research. As you know, I've been conducting investigations since Yeah, I can't remember the first time I started, but it's been about a year or so. We're still in the first season of my paranormal series, so I don't know, I'll have to look. I meant to look at the date I started exactly and I forgot. But anyway, I'm continuing to read this, okay? The most intriguing factor to me would be the people who are so skeptical, and then the moment of truth, when they have a strange encounter, they are now all of a sudden believers, right? I have seen many documentaries of grown manly men crying, okay, and men do not cry, period. Tell me if you think otherwise, but I've never seen a manly man cry. All right. One of the most interesting facts that I have learned is that people who don't believe that the paranormal may exist or don't have an open mind to other things that we may not yet know about are most likely to have a mental illness. This is not coming from me, okay? This is based on scientific studies. They have proven that people who have an open mind to things, such as me, anyone that believes in the paranormal, that's a good example, that could be out there and then do the research, are a lot more intelligent than they're given credit for. They are much more mentally stable and healthy than the non-believers. Again, that is not a theory. That is not my thinking pattern. This is a fact based on scientific research. Okay, if you don't believe it, look it up and you will see it has been proven by a legitimate source. Then maybe you will think again. Now, just 1 second before I continue reading my writing here. Isn't that ironic? Scientific facts, okay? How many people out there only believe in scientific facts, right? That's all they believe in. They don't believe that there's anything outside of that box, anything outside of those normal walls, right? Yet, at the same time, the scientific fact has been proven that people that don't believe there could be something else out there or have more shallow minds are more likely to have a mental illness. Think about that. Think the irony of it, okay? I'll let you get back to me on that one. So, I'm not here to prove anyone wrong. I am only here to give 1, the facts, 2, my personal experiences, and finally 3, my opinions. I am not here to tell you that you must believe every word I say. I am just here to speak. If you like it, cool. If you don't, then you can easily turn this off and watch something else. Okay. Now I have a part 2 on this. Anything you want to comment below, go right ahead. Here's my second writing that I wrote earlier today. I have always been a believer that something else could be out there. My mom has always told me she thinks I have psychic powers, and I do believe she's right, because all of the experience I've had to date, here's an example. I had a thought or a dream, and then it came true. That doesn't sound deep, but if I told you every single experience that I've had, then you would really understand. But then again, everyone has some psychic powers. I have learned that from my favorite psychic medium, Cindy Kaza. She says everyone is psychic to a certain extent. Some just choose to use it and develop it more than others. I have never figured out how to quite develop or use my psychic powers, My moments tend to just come at the most random times, without warning, and they are very spread out over the years. They don't happen to me as frequent as I would like them to. Okay, so I've always wanted to use my psychic powers. You know, I would love to have a job using them, but I have never really tuned into them as much as I would like. I wish I would have developed this a lot longer ago. Now I feel like I don't really have the time as much anymore, but that's a dream of mine. I mean, in one of my episodes of OMG Original Mystic Galz, I do go into some of the psychic experiences that I've had. And right now I'm not going to tell those stories all over again, but if you watch my episodes, you will see it was the episode of me, my brother, my mom, and we were going into a graveyard. Okay. I spoke about it. But anyway. That's pretty much it. I just wish that I could do more with my psychic powers, but so far I haven't been able to. I want to take some classes eventually, but still on the back burner because I have trombone. I have my arts and crafts, such as crochet. I'm still working on another project, which I'm almost done with. I'm getting there. But I keep busy because I just, I love the different things you can do with your life. I mean, there's so many things you can do out there. I never understood when people say they were bored because I'm thinking, bored? There's so many things to do out there. How can you be bored? My mind never stops. My mind's always like, ooh, I want to do this. Ooh, I want to do that. Ooh, I want to do this. I want to try that. I love trying new things. I love doing different things. I love keeping myself busy. I'm a real hands-on person. I like to cook. I like to do my crafting, like I said, crochet. I've tried those diamond paintings, drawing, computer work. I mean, the list goes on and on. So let's go. All right, first of all, I want to share my favorite psychic mediums and ghost hunters. Okay, so I've compiled a list of my top 10. It's really no specific order. I mean, I would say that Cindy Keza is number 1 on that list. Number 2, Chip Coffee. He is so cool. I love his style, He's just so random, which is what I love most about Chip Coffee, because he'll enter a room and then he'll just be like, angry, I feel angry, like all of a sudden. But that's what mediums do. They could feel the spirit, the presence, the way they were, what they were feeling, stuff like that. But he's just so dramatic, and that's what I love about him. It just makes me laugh. Okay, and then we have Amy Bruni. She's so cool. She has a paranormal circle club, which I have joined. I really haven't had a chance to check out like all the different benefits, but I do know it's only like $10 a month or something. The paranormal circle, you get exclusive footage on the website. You can go watch videos that other people don't have access to. She has, hold on a second, something with my throat. She has different events that she does. The latest one she had done in Gettysburg, and which I'm not far from. But unfortunately, I couldn't make it this time around. So hopefully next year I can do it. I'm going to mark it on my calendar. But if you're an exclusive member, you either get a discount, you get, oh, tickle in my throat, excuse me. You can get special gear, different stickers, things like that. There's a lot of things online I haven't looked into yet, but we'll talk more about that later. Number 4, I have Dave Schrader. He is so funny. He tells the most funny jokes. He's been on Facebook telling ghost jokes from a book. a ghost book, but then he's also made up some of his own, and they're pretty cool. But he's a ghost hunter. He did that Holzer Files with Cindy Kaza and Shane Pittman, and then the daughter of Mr. Holzer. They had a lot of files they went over, and files that have been put away and not looked into, and they kind of just like brought it out to see if they could find any unsolved mysteries on the cases and things like that. That was so interesting. That's the first time I ever heard about Dave Schrader and Shane Pittman, which he's number 5 on my list. 6, I have Adam Berry. He's really cool, ghost hunter as well. He did, oh my gosh, what was the name of it? The show with Amy Bruni and Chip Coffey. Why is it not coming to me? Kindred Spirits. Yeah, that's the show. So I think I saw all those. Then we have Steve Gonsalves, which I have a bad tickle in my throat, sorry. Which he was on a lot of different shows. I can't remember the names of them now. Then we have Jason Hawes, Hawes. Is that how you pronounce it? Dave Tango and Amy Allen. So really no specific order, but they're my top 10. Just most of the people that I think are legit and worth watching. Of course, there are probably some bogus people out there, but that is why they are not a part of my top 10 list. There are even some people who I think are not bogus, but they do too many crazy things, and I feel as though they are putting their lives at risk, so I don't care for them. Sometimes I might watch some of their shows out of curiosity, but I would never think about doing anything like that by myself, or at all. So there's a couple of different ways to look at that. I can't think of his name because I feel like he's the jackass of the paranormal. You remember the show Jackass? What is this guy's name? He does the most crazy things. Like in the most recent episode of some kind of ghost show I was watching, he actually went blind because he went into the... Oh gosh, what place was it? Was it the Conjuring house? It could have been, but I'm thinking it might have been another place. I don't know, but it was so scary. It had demonic entities in there. That's a place I would never go into. Like, why would you put yourself in harm's way or in grave danger? Well, a lot of people that have visited that house, I'm sorry if I don't remember the name of it, but they've come out with a run of bad luck, got into an auto accident, became suicidal. I don't know, just a lot of different things were going on with all these people that went into the house. Even this guy that was just running electrical tests on the house to see if there was any type of way they could debunk the things going on inside the house. But he ended up having something crazy happen to him. He was in the hospital with some kind of, was it an infection or something with his lungs or heart? I don't remember exactly, but he had something bad going on. And all he did was go in and run some tests in the house. So he wasn't even in there like a full day. But the other way of looking at something like that would be they are putting their lives in danger because they want people to learn from the research that they're conducting. So you could either look at them as the jackasses of the paranormal or the very brave that are just trying to learn and teach people new things and find out new discoveries. It means that much to them. But at the same time, what do you think about that? I think it's crazy. I personally would not put my life on the line just to come up with some new evidence. I mean, yeah, it's cool and everything to come up with evidence, but to me, it's not that serious. Anyway, let's finish reading the second part. I went off on a tangent. I have done 5 episodes of my own paranormal show as of today, in which I already told you about, called OMG, which stands for Original Mystic Galz. It is the show based on my mom and I, and my nephew tags along sometimes as well. My most recent show features my best friend Amy. We do not venture into anything crazy, dark, or demonic. If something seems off to us, we will stop investigating that space. We always say a prayer before the investigations, and we always tell the spirits they are not allowed to follow us home. They need to stay there. They need to stay put. There are many different ways you can protect yourself from evil or negative entities. That is the way we choose to handle it. So a prayer, bring some crystals, if that's the type of thing you believe in. Not everyone believes in that. Sorry, my allergies are really acting up today. But between my allergies, I'm going to cut this part out. This is bad. Okay, so that's the way we choose to handle it. A prayer, bring some crystals, bring some selenite, which is really good for protection. Just look up and do your research before you get into something, because you could always put yourself in danger. Even if you say a prayer and protect yourself, there are still ways that you could get harmed. So just be careful and be very alert, which is why I drink a lot of this. Anyway, here's the rest of my writing, and then we will get into people's stories that I've heard. The most fun part about doing these investigations are a couple of things for me. 1, uncovering evidence that no one could possibly make up. 2, going with my intuition and finding that my psychic powers are steering me into the right direction. Because it's so fun just finding evidence that no one can say, hey, that's fake. But because that's our goal, right? Because we want to show you that this stuff is real and not made up. So we debunk what we can if we can. And if it can't be debunked in any way, then that is your valuable evidence right there. So that's what I wrote earlier. I kind of went off on a couple tangents, but you get the point. So we definitely do want to investigate Gettysburg eventually. And the funny thing is, I used to live in Gettysburg. But when I lived there, I didn't do these investigations. It was maybe a couple months after I moved out of Gettysburg is when I started getting into, investigating. It would have been great if I did it at that time, but then again, it might not have been because it was during COVID. I moved to Gettysburg pretty much right before COVID started. So it kind of sucked because everything started shutting down. The stores were always closed, and I was just stuck there in my apartment by myself, basically cooking, cleaning, listening to music. That's when I started playing the trumpet because I had my teeth pulled out here. They were in my way of playing a brass instrument. So anyway, I'm going off on a tangent again. But then I realized after COVID, I was having problems with my lungs, coughing, having problems breathing, sometimes feeling like I'm being choked. And no, this isn't due to any type of negative entity. It's due to COVID because it started even before I started the investigations. But Maya, come here. She wants to say hi. You want to say hi? Come here. This is my good girl. Her name is Maya. Say hi, Maya. Okay, okay. She says hi. She's barking at somebody outside. Okay, so let me get back into my story. Where did I stop? Oh yeah, and then when I realized the trumpet wasn't good for me, that's when I decided to go with the trombone. So far so good. You know, I'm not an expert yet, but then again, I had to work on school and do that. Now I'm finished with that, so now I can focus more. But I'm gonna juggle everything. Art, paranormal, trombone, and work, because I'm starting a new job this coming Tuesday. So yeah, I'm never gonna get bored. So anyway, excuse me. Let's get into some of the stories that I heard. All right. So if I feel like a story is not legit or true, I'm not gonna tell you about it. I'm gonna blow this candle out because for some reason I feel like it's affecting me. I think it's the smoke or something. I wanted to give my video more of a spooky vibe, but it's making my throat dry. So let's drink some more. I drank plenty of water today. All right, so the stories that I've heard. Let's start with Sasquatch. So honestly, to tell you the truth, before I watched these documentaries, I personally thought that Sasquatch was just an animal. Like, I didn't think he was paranormal. But all the stories I've heard is making me believe more and more that Sasquatch is a paranormal entity. So let's start with some of the stories and then you'll understand why I believe that. So there's been so many stories about somebody seeing Bigfoot and then he started disappearing into thin air, or UFOs linked with a Sasquatch sighting around the same time, or orbs of light. You know, one time there was somebody that saw a Sasquatch carrying an orb. Another time some people have seen an orb shape-shifting into a portal or something. And then there's Sasquatch nearby, or a Sasquatch turning into a deer, or a black panther, or what are some of the other? Mountain lion, possibly? I don't know. There's been a lot of different animals that people have seen them morphing right before their own eyes. They literally saw it changing into another animal in front of them. And then we have stories where people have said they've found mysterious objects appearing at their house. So they've seen Bigfoot, they've tried communicating with Bigfoot, and something's going on in their life, such as someone's mom was really sick. She was in the hospital. She needed to have heart surgery or something like that. And then a Bigfoot, they believe it was a Bigfoot, ended up putting a glass heart underneath the hummingbird feeder because she was always all about that hummingbird feeder. But then a glass heart just appears underneath it one morning. Like, once again, that's not just a coincidence. Then there's been another person, they had a cat in their life that died. They were very upset about their cat passing away, and they had a Bigfoot sighting. Every once in a while they would find a rock with a cat painted on it. When do you find a rock with a cat painted on it? Does that ever happen? It's never happened to me. But they claim not once, not twice, but 3 different rocks appeared with 3 different cats painted on them. Not all in the same place. Popped up in different areas around their house. Is that a coincidence? No, I think not. It's definitely a synchronicity, and it means something. So I do believe that that's happened. Then I also heard a story. There was a man that he was having a problem, like a story about a man who was having problems with his lungs or breathing or something. And he had been in touch with a Bigfoot. He asked them flat out, can you give us an answer on, you know, a way to heal this, or something we can use to heal this, you know, breathing, lung problem, whatever. The next day, they purposely put out some blocks with letters on them, forming some kind of sentence. And then it changed around the next day. It was then the blocks were rearranged, and it had said something. It almost sounded like the guy's name. And then there was a weird looking, like, black rock, and they didn't know what it was. So they had the rock examined, and apparently it's some kind of gemstone, and it's good for, like, the airways, the lungs, and its healing properties associated with lungs, things like that. It just appeared there randomly, along with the blocks rearranged. Coincidence? I think not. Okay, so then the stories get even more weird. Let me think. Wow, this one was so crazy to me. This one lady, she talks with the Bigfoot all the time. All the time, like she has conversations with them. But they will only talk to her if she doesn't have, you know, something to record. Hold on, I'm getting a phone call. I will continue this later.